On the one hand, ugly is ugly. On the other hand, wins are wins. Avs win over the San Jose Sharks 4-2. This is far from the best game the Avs have played this season, and it's probably not a game that would have gotten the job done against a lot of teams, but it got the job done tonight, and the reality we've faced for the Avs now is they have to win, and they did win. So does anything else really matter in this game? Yes, other things do matter, for sure, but ultimately, mission accomplished. And while the second period of this game was pretty darn bad from Colorado, the rest of it really was not that bad. In fact, there were good portions of it that were even good. Like the first period, in fact. Certainly the first 10 minutes of the first period, the Avs dominated that section of the game, giving the Sharks basically no room to breathe. An early penalty on San Jose even gets converted for Colorado. Avs with their setup on the power play here. Note they are running Colton and Nichushkin as the guys alongside the big three. They have their umbrella. They're looking for the usual plays they look for, but ultimately Makar is given space up high. He walks in and attempts to shoot. Now he misses the net. Misses it entirely. Doesn't even come close to be getting it on net, if I'm honest, but it springs off of the backboard well, and Nichushkin is left alone in front. The Sharks do a very poor job of taking away the most dangerous area of the ice. In fact, they're actively giving it away to the Avs, so Nichushkin's able to just slap one with a backhand, and it finds its way under Georgiev. We've been asking the Avs to simplify a lot. They did there. That's not even a shot on net initially. That's a shot generally towards the net, and it results in a goal. Sometimes you have to do that. People in the right places and good ideas, sometimes even when your execution is not very good, it still works out. It's a good thing that that one did work out, though, because the Avs do run into that execution problem through the rest of the first period. It's not for lack of effort or opportunity or even quality from the Avs. They load up on possession, dominating the Sharks in the first period to the tune of nearly tripling them up on shot attempts. Problem is, shot attempts are not shots on goal. The Avs had just 12 shots on goal in 34 attempts in the first period. That's bad. You have to be more efficient with your shooting of at least getting pucks on the net than that. That's a ton of shots that ultimately have 0% chance to go in the net. And yes, the possession numbers are good, but it's a good reminder that possession numbers aren't everything. You can generate 100 shot attempts without having any hope of ever scoring a goal. You have to be generating good shots. The Sharks do fight back. They get 10 shots on goal in the end of the first period, but none of them go in, and really only one of them was a quality high-danger chance against the Avs. And guess what? The Avs goalie made a save. So a good first period. I think you can be happy with that for Colorado. And then a second period that was actively bad. Obviously, the 2 goals against are bad, and those mostly stem from some pretty rough turnovers from Colorado, but the entire period, it just felt like the Avs were a little bit lackadaisical, not quite doing those extra bits that they needed to, whether it was making sure they check where their teammates are before passing, or just kind of lazily not getting engaged in battles the way they should be. They got outplayed in nearly every facet of the game in the second period, and when that happens, you give up chances, and when you give up chances, eventually pucks go the other team's way. After a turnover, the Sharks are able to get out of their own zone quickly and get it in deep on Colorado. Now, this shouldn't be all that dangerous of a play from here. You even knock a puck loose in the corner, but you're not able to win the puck battle with a guy playing from his knees, and then this is followed up by Mikko Rantanen also failing to win a puck battle. So as the puck comes out in front, the Avs were not positioned well in the passing lane, and it slips through all of them, and you'll see the Avs have fully overcommitted to the corner, either expecting to collect that puck or expecting to win the battle. We don't cover more than half the ice. That's generally bad, and this doesn't even lead directly to the goal. You get an initial save out of Mackenzie Blackwood, but the rebound is not a particularly good one. Middlestat, asleep. Rantanen, asleep. Girard, actively losing a positional battle. That's how pucks end up in your net. I didn't love that rebound, but Mackenzie Blackwood would go on to post a .940 save percentage in this game, so mistakes happen and you can still play well. And in Blackwood's case, he would only give up one more goal in this game just a few minutes later. The Avs' top line in the defensive zone here. Now, to be clear, this never should have happened. Lecky has clear possession of this puck. He has space. He has time. He can get this puck out in any number of ways, but he panics under pressure, throws a weak backhand up the ice, and instead of through off the wall to McKinnon, or just up high off the glass to safety. It's just right to the Sharks' stick. A clean possession that ends up not going their way. The Sharks jump on this quickly. They find some open space. The initial defense, good. A weird deflected puck off of the backside. It gets played there. The high stick was not a high stick. It just wasn't. So the play stays alive here, and as the Avs try and chase down a bouncing puck, they just do not manage it well, and all of a sudden, it's in the back of your net. Nightmarish defensive zone work from the Avs top line on that goal. Truly just horrendous. For the record, that goal was challenged for potentially being played with a high stick by the Avs, and they ultimately called it a good goal. So what was a good start gets completely erased by a period where the Avs are their own worst enemy. It's not good. And there's a million things you could clean up in that period if you really want to dig down into it. But the Avs are always able to dig themselves out, seemingly. And while it was a bad period, you only sit in a one-goal hole because the Avs did the thing they haven't done enough this year. They scored first and they won the first period. So this bad stretch of hockey, the game was still close by the end of it, and you had the third period to take care of business. And that's what the Avs go out and do. Now, I will say most of the business gets done on special teams. First of all, the Avs kill a whole bunch of penalties in this game, including multiple in the third period. The discipline issue is a whole nother thing. You have to stop taking these penalties. You have to. But at least now, in this portion of the season, when they take those penalties, you have faith in this Avs team to kill them. The penalty kill goes a perfect 4-for-4, and the Avs get this game tied by picking up their second power play goal of the game. After gaining the zone and getting it back to Cale, the Avs quickly get set up, and you see them do their usual thing. Now, this is set up for a pretty stock Nathan MacKinnon one-timer. Honestly, Georgiev is maybe a fraction late getting over, too. This may well have worked as a goal if MacKinnon just rips that thing into the right spot in the net. But MacKinnon catches it, kind of double clutches it, and finds the seam. They've tried this pass a bajillion times. It's bound to work eventually, and honestly, with as good as they are, it's probably supposed to work more often than they've been able to make it work. This time, though, it's the perfect play and a perfect finish. All right, look, the first power play goal was getting dirty and doing what you had to do. The second power play goal is all the skill in the world finally clicking for the Avs. I do think the Avs have been too cute on the power play for a while now, but that's why you let them do that, is because it works sometimes. It hasn't been working consistently enough lately, but hey, you put one in and things can start rolling the right way, and also goals like that are sick to watch. So that gets the game back to tied, and momentum is rolling the Avs' way. The penalties did stunt that a little bit, but a goal goes in that Colorado should be familiar with. Tied late in the game, you now have the Avs playing quality hockey. Nichushkin, with a nice little back check from out high, forces a turnover. LOC is there to pick up the puck, and he gets it ahead and springs the Avs on an odd man rush. Kiviranta walks in, realizes he's a depth player, doesn't overthink this, gets about as deep as he can, not quite all the way to the dot, to put a shot on net. This isn't a particularly great shot. It's not particularly firm. It's not the most dangerous shot of all time, but it's well placed, and it beats Alexander Georgiev under the glove. Do you know what I'm going to say? That's a bad goal. Here's the thing about bad goals, though. They can't go in if you don't shoot them on net. Good job by old Kiviranta to create a chance and to put it on net. That's how you score goals, especially as a depth player. Kiviranta has seemingly learned that this season, as that would be his 6th goal, and in a minute I'll show you his 7th. He's the one Avs depth player that is finding a way to get on the scoreboard often enough to be impactful offensively for this team. Now, granted, he's shooting like 17.5%, and that's not going to sustain itself for the rest of the season, but somehow the Avs often find the best out of these players. They continue to turn players into NHLers and turn NHLers into higher level NHLers. But this was a guy who literally did not have an NHL contract less than 2 years ago. And the Avs are turning him into not just a regular NHLer, but a decent one. And while he's not a 17.5% shooter, there are plays that make it look like he is a decent shooter, like the game-sealing goal. Now, this is a mess of a hockey play from the San Jose Sharks. The Avs are able to get possession in the neutral zone at just a simple flip-in. Georgiev goes to play the puck to safety and actually plays it right to Arturi Lehkonen, so did not help. The Stars still get a chance to clear it, but Casey Middlestat uses his body to knock it down, keep it in the zone, and eventually do enough to get this puck back to Lehkonen. The Sharks mishandled the puck about 6 times in there. It is what it is. With Lehkonen finding this space, Kiviranta has screamed into the zone, recognizing the Avs now have possession, and the Sharks' coverage is interesting. This is 2 guys guarding 1 guy. This is a guy, I guess, technically guarding Lehkonen, but he's on the wrong side of him in every way you can possibly be. This is a guy guarding no one, and here's a guy who got beat by Kiviranta screaming into the zone. You literally have 2 players guarding 1 and 3 players guarding none. That's not good, and Kiviranta with actually a very good shot to finish the play. Kiviranta's not going to score every night. He's probably not even going to score every other night, but he might score 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 nights, and that's good for an NHL depth guy, at least for a 4th liner. And I know he's playing up in the lineup and whatever, but the Avs have injuries. That happens every year. Guys have to move up at times. Even with all of the injuries they've had this year, Kiviranta is a guy who's only breached the 15-minute mark in a couple of games this season. So it's not like he's being ridiculously overplayed as far as time on ice is concerned, but he's making hay while he can. Yeah, he's probably going to have another 10-game streak where he picks up no points this season or something like that, but he's an important piece to Colorado for right now. And ultimately, what was a bit of a greasy game goes the Avs' way, and yes, it is the good job from the Avs to start strong and finish strong. Those are the 2 parts of any game where if you had to pick parts to be good, you'd take those 2. The middle is a murky mess. This is a hockey team that still has a lot of stuff to clean up. It's stuff that I expected them to clean up by now, even with some of the lingering injuries, and they haven't done that. If those things don't get cleaned up, the Avs are not going to be the team everyone wants them to be. But they still can clean them up. And it sure looks like they have a guy in net that can provide them a little bit of consistency, and that goes a long way. That's the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. I am Rudo, and any win is a good win.